Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast, episode number 194. Initially, this podcast was transferring some audio over from a Facebook Live video I did, your host, David Palermo, on Facebook Thursday morning. I can't count. Anyways, so pretty much how can the Bills beat the Chargers? And, little preview, but more focused on what can the Bills do for themselves to have a shot against the Chargers. But as I sit here, about 2 hours ago, I got a notification on my phone that the Bills have released my man, Jeremy fucking Kerley. So I'm like, all right, really? And they, has signed defensive tackle Robert Thomas from the practice squad. Oh, fucking K. Well, all right. Who knows? I'm not the coach of the team, and it should be interesting to get into. All right, so right off the bat, I'll give you a few fresh thoughts before the video, which was getting back to the basics for the Bills pretty much. So if you haven't found the video, it's on Facebook Live. It's pretty sweet. If you like looking at people sit there talking with their hands into a microphone with shit in the background just to make the room look busy, I guess. If that's what you're really into, I guess the Facebook Live video is for you. But for me, I frankly don't give a fuck. I like audio, and I usually listen to pressers in audio. I like radio, so I can do other shit. But if you want to look at my ugly ass, you can get on Facebook and subscribe on fucking Facebook, and you'll get a notification, I think. I don't know how this shit works. If I go live. If not, check. I'm sure you missed something. And then tell your friends about it. God, it's a hard operation to run here. Got a Numb Bills Fan Fantasy League this year we're doing. Thanks, Mike Smith. So, real quick, thoughts on Jeremy Kerley being released. Okay, I don't know. I thought Jeremy Kerley clearly would be a very, 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 very smart person to have on the damn team. I don't know. Last I checked, the Bills have, no offensive production. So I think it would be a great idea to maybe have a guy who will be in the right spot at the right time on the roster when he's running routes. But who knows? Maybe they just favor, their matchup defensively. We're going to stop Phillip Rivers from just throwing 400 yards on us. So, we don't need points here. All right, well, I don't know. I'm not the coaches. I don't get paid to do the job. And at this point, I've already flipped my table over 5 times. I'm done setting it back the fuck up. So at this point, I'm ready to take the torch to the table. Had a client out my way go, hey, I need fans for your basin to drop. Oh, I got a 20-foot flamethrower. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about with my fucking table right now. So in the Bills I trust, this is where, hey, it's not my job. The Bills are only 0-1. Even if they are 0-2, they're mathematically still in it. And I will ride this the fuck out till they are mathematically not in it, because it is football. Stranger things have happened. Think about the craziest storylines ever. How many times have teams gone 4-0 and then just shit on themselves? Then the next year just shit on themselves all over again. And then the coach is gone, But the Bills, we're in a great position as Bills fans or whoever's listening, because Josh Allen is ready to go. As in, he's starting. They don't have another option. And I'm pretty damn stoked to see what this kid can do. I am really stoked on it. I told you from the jump, if you've been following along, why the fuck is Nathan Peterman on the fucking roster? And now everybody's like, oh, man, maybe if they had an established vet. No. You should have just started Josh Allen. The offensive line, it sounds like a great line for Josh Allen to be used to. Sounds like a mess for him, like in Wyoming. It sounds like a good line for a guy like Tyrod Taylor to be under, where, he runs away from the shit pretty much, right? In a nice way. He can manage through the shit and still get some yards with his legs. I don't mind Josh Allen picking up yards with his legs. If the kid had 35 yards rushing this game against the Chargers, you heard it here first, I would not be shocked. But I really feel that if the Bills can just game plan, a simple damn game plan like give LeSean McCoy the fucking ball, it should open up play action for Josh Allen, which is an easier situation because now you're getting the defenders to at least freeze for a nanosecond. And if you don't know what a fucking nanosecond is, it's not a lot of time. But that's the kind of windows you got in a professional sports league. That said, there's no Joey Bosa this game for the San Diego Chargers. San Diego. I keep saying that. The LA Chargers. Why the fuck are they in LA? Anyways, another topic. So, the Bills should be able to do some damage on paper. And in the video, you'll see I actually read some stuff from Joe Buscalia's article at WKBW. I think that's the station name. Sorry, Joe B. But, he actually pointed out that Vlad Dukas had a really good game minus his 2 holding penalties. Okay? But, look, let's all calm down. Watch the game. Well, I'll calm down. And let's see what happens at the home opener tomorrow. Should be fun, as in like hot. And there's 3 December games, I believe, this year. So I really hope, it's the Chargers. Every year you think Phillip Rivers, and he crushes. But Phillip Rivers has always been the guy to me that you can make an argument that when you do have the franchise quarterback, you don't win championships, okay? And that's the fucking truth. You need a team. And if you're going to draft a young quarterback, support the kid. Put pieces around him. Maybe a veteran quarterback that they can lean on when times get tough, when they're in the film room. There's only so much access to coaches, and now you're telling me? Okay. You get where I'm going with this. It's like, let's set up these guys the best they can for the team. So, Phillip Rivers, they've had some really tough breaks, the Chargers over the years, like really tough breaks. And, whether it's injuries, offensively, it's just, I don't remember them ever really always having like a decent defense. So, for me, I think the Bills to be favored by so much going into Buffalo, the Chargers, it's crazy. It's more than a touchdown, I believe, the spread. It was at 8 points last I checked, but that was like a couple days ago. And maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about here. So I think I'm going to try to call my dad. And he's into this gambling stuff. Great time to walk around, dog. Great time. Thank you. It's not like I'm podcasting. Okay. Anyways, hope you enjoy the video audio thing here if you're checking it out before the game. But I still think it's relevant for the future of the Bills, which is, let's keep it simple, stupid. Thank you. So in the notes I have are really, I had to reset the clock in my head and going into the Ravens game, what did I expect to see? So what I wanted to see with the Ravens going into it is Brian Dable, we're talking mismatches. Love it. Absolutely love it, right? We're talking an offense that hasn't been, a lot of people saying out there, hey, this could be the most creative offense since Chan Gailey, trying to work with the pieces you got, right? So, kind of like thinking about it, and I'm like, all right, well, the number one mismatch the Bills have is LeSean McCoy. If you're the Baltimore Ravens and you're preparing for the Buffalo Bills, don't you expect to try and stop LeSean McCoy? And the dude had like 7 touches or carries, whatever, however you want to put it, for like 21 yards. So what I'm saying is the Chargers don't have Joey Bosa this week. Pretty sure, right? So, Patrick Mahomes did a pretty decent job in his opener. Kareem Hunt, pretty solid against that Chargers defensive line. When the dust settles and you find out what happened with the offensive line, reading stuff from, say, Joe Biscaglia, cover1.net, I could say those two things, all right? And there's other people who break down, like, who had a good game, saying, like, Harrison Phillips was the best defensive lineman, but then other people are like, it's Shaq Lawson. We'll get into that. But it seems like Vlad Dukas, Joe B was saying, was actually, minus his holds, was actually, like, the best offensive lineman. And as Joe Biscaglia calls it in his article on WKBB, I believe it is. Let me see here. Yes. So, yeah, WKBW. So, want to give the guy some credit here. But he has a really nice piece up there, and it kind of opened up my eyes a lot to maybe I overreact a little bit. Maybe I went a little crazy. But it also just takes a minute. You just got to let the dust settle, because to me, the team looked like you couldn't have had an offseason and been just fucking fine. And you just shit all over yourself. You got, shit dripping out your diaper, down your leg. Not cool. I want to see people play some, like, competitive football. Not just be out there and having a good time. Because I want to see more of those, like, nice Lorenzo Alexander hits on dude by sidelines. No, you're not catching a rock, son. Not here. And that guy just goes hard in the paint. Lorenzo Alexander is probably my favorite Bill right now. I got to be honest with you. I love the vets. Back to the topic at hand. Anyways, don't know how I got down that trail. But when you look at the Bills, feature LeSean McCoy. Feed him the rock. All right, Deion Dawkins, I love that kid's attitude. He's probably my second favorite Bill right now. Like, that kid's attitude's awesome. I'm gonna forget this list, so don't quote me on this list. I'm just riffing here. But Ryan Groy, I don't know what happened to him. He just went. I'm just hoping that I'm thinking that Ryan Groy and John Miller had such a bad game that they can't repeat that performance. And really, I think the Bills can't outsmart themselves. And you have to give Eric Wood a lot of credit for all the checks he would make at the line and all the adjustments he would make. Because I don't know how Ryan Groy is with that stuff. I'm not a coach. You know what I mean? But I think that could also be a big... you're going against a very experienced Ravens defensive line. So that team has been stable. There's something about stable teams, But I think if the Bills just keep it simple, let Josh Allen play within himself, let LeSean McCoy run the ball. I mean, isn't that like part of the thing here? Like, let's mask what we're bad at. Okay, run the ball. You have LeSean McCoy. You don't need a great offensive line with LeSean McCoy. He makes adjustments. He makes people miss. That's his thing. Like, I don't understand why there's fans who are just accepting having a bad year. Oh, it's no big deal. Just simmer down, dude. These scouts are great. The Bills just have a lot of dead cap. Okay. The Bills have no talent. All right? And the people they brought in, we went over this. They got to perform. I got to see them. There's some big cap money out there. So, think about that. A lot of dead cap, a lot of things, and LeSean McCoy's on their team, and he's not even featured against the Ravens. That needs to happen like now, because LeSean McCoy is the mismatch. He is the biggest mismatch of anybody. Calvin Benjamin, no, he don't even count. He does not even count. LeSean McCoy runs the ball well. You do the typical football shit, which is, play action. Oh, we got ya. Well, yeah, I honestly think it's that simple. Like, I really think it's that simple. Play action's great, man. Like, how many times have you seen these quarterbacks play action stats? Okay, well, you want a pattern like what Josh Allen is comfortable with if you're a smart fucking coach? Well, if Wyoming was such a disaster, well, welcome to Wyoming and Buffalo. Okay? The line really underperformed. Or did they perform to where you expect? Except when you find out Vlad Dukas was the best one on the line, or some people think, as in Joe Biscaglia, and he's the punching bag guy, as he calls him. So maybe not. But I think it's really that simple. A lot of the quarterback stats are great off of play action. Get Josh Allen out of the pocket. Fuck the pocket, I guess. I don't know. Get creative. Maybe run some screens. Take advantage. I was so disappointed to hear from Sean McDermott and to see Brian Daboll's offense, even within 20 points, like so boring. Like not even, I don't want to say boring. You're not going to show your playbook when you're getting blown out. There's no reason to give them more tape. It was just really simple at the second half for the Bills offense. But I expected a lot more. I expected screens. I expected, frankly, common sense. LeSean McCoy's on your team. Give him the ball. Okay? And that just opens up everything. It opens up your receivers. That opens up the middle of the field. Eventually, I mean, what do you want? If you run LeSean McCoy, they're going to come down a little bit. I don't understand. Like, and McCoy can make adjustments. Whenever he gets the ball, he averages a lot of yards. But if you're getting a holding penalty and you get the calls back, whatever, it's just, I hope this team is regrouped and focused and they come out offensively and don't ask Josh Allen to do too much. But I think he is smart enough to be fine, because I'll be honest, all that shit we hear about with Josh Allen, his footwork is atrocious. He's not going to hit the broadside of a barn. So, yeah, on paper, analytically, I'm like, if this kid doesn't check out and he's got these mechanical things to work out, how many times you guys have that shit worked out? And in Buffalo, he's going to be, this is my thought before the draft, or after they drafted him, is in Buffalo, he's going to be shoved into a starting lineup way too soon. And look, worst case scenario for a quarterback in Buffalo. This is it. This was like my worst case scenario, which is you bring a quarterback into Buffalo who's unprepared. The quarterback's coach, David Culley, they're like, what are you doing? Your Project Nathan Peterman? I don't know whose call it is. I don't know if Dave even has a choice here. But if his label's a quarterback's coach, I'm dropping the hammer. It's okay. Your product, Nathan Peterman, can't do shit. Like a 0 quarterback rating. That's fucking impossible. And he's still on the team and not cut. Like, why are you not cutting Nathan Peterman? Like, he can't run the offense. How about you take your stupid fucking 5th round pick for AJ McCarron and trade for Ryan Fitzpatrick after game fucking 2 and get your head out of your fucking ass if you want to back up? Like, that would be kind of cool. I would do that. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but like, I still want to win fucking football games. So if the game eventually is too big for Josh Allen, I would still like to win. Like, is that crazy? Is that crazy? I want to, like, win. It's happened before. Wild shit's happen. Everybody, there's 16 teams that have a loss right now, okay? The problem I have with the loss is 16 games are very fucking precious, and especially an AFC loss against a team where the differential is so fucking huge by how much you lost by the Ravens. It's really not good if you're in contention with them for the playoffs at the end of the wire like they were last year. So for me, it's common sense on offense. Work at your strength. Your strength is LeSean McCoy. Open up some play action. Let Josh Allen run with the ball. Let him do his thing. Let him adjust. Because when Josh Allen went in there, I thought he adjusted to the pocket and lack thereof at times, and when their whole right side of the line's falling in his lap, I thought he adjusted very well. Really, I really did. And he made some lemonade out of lemons he had to work with there. You know, these receivers like Calvin Benjamin, you got to catch the ball. Like, yo, why are you fucking jumping, Calvin, every time the ball comes at you? You're like 9 feet tall. Isn't the whole, like, when I think of AJ Green, I just think about these sounds. You know, like way up there. Wee! You know, just on the ground. Wee! Not. You know, it's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? Like, why? And then you like trap the ball. Like, what is this, your first day catching anything? What the fuck? And then Zay Jones' mom is busy replying to Sal Capaccio on Twitter. If anybody missed it, I guess. I didn't see it, but what I heard on the radio is that Zay Jones has to, like, pretty much, his mom came on Twitter and was allegedly, his mom was on Twitter saying that, like, Zay Jones has to, like, tell Calvin Benjamin where to line up and all that shit. What? So, for me, I expect a bounce back year from Zay Jones, okay? Again, how much worse could you get? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just mean, like, there's a hell of a lot of fucking pressure in the NFL, and I have a lot of empathy for the kid. Always have. Always have, because I think this whole just tough it up, you're not allowed to have feelings thing is a bunch of bullshit when you're a professional athlete, because they're fucking people too, okay? And what most people watching the sport or professional sports don't get is most of us will never have that kind of money where we can actually question, how important is this stupid fucking football gig? So I can't really shit on players when, you know, or even GMs when they say the stuff like, hey, they gotta love the game. Like, you have to love football. So back to loving football. Defensively, I think the Bills can do a lot better. Harrison Phillips, what an impressive performance. I got to give that kid a shout out. You know I love the wrestlers, okay? That's why I like Sean McDermott. I really do. But just be fucking honest with me, Sean McDermott, okay? Because I've been calling it since you got here, and to the fans here, like, yo, your shtick of fucking process is going to be old. And I think for the first time, his Wednesday press conference, was it? Yeah, he didn't say process. No fucking process shit. I think I'm thrilled. I got to go back and listen to the tape and then maybe write down in my notes what I got to do to see if about the process. So, like, only thing I'm asking for is for Sean McDermott is I like press conferences. I like to have answers because I like to learn about the game. And I know that might sound corny. Oh, what are you going to learn from a presser? Well, people have different philosophies. Everybody, you know, my father's best quote of my life is, everybody fucks differently. And the Bills have had a lot of fucking coaches. So it's awesome. Like, I learned a lot from Chan Gailey, you know. Learned a lot from Doug Marrone. Yeah, whatever it is, it's just, honestly, I feel like you learn things from guys like Rex Ryan too, even though he was a joke to a lot of people. I think what you can do is really pick up their philosophy on stuff, you know. And some coaches are good at actually educating the fan base, and I think that McDermott is just frankly behind in, like, I don't know. Mike Shope on Shope and Bulldog had a great quote one time. And it was, and he's been saying the Bills have been behind in everything for a long time. So I'm in parallel thought with that. But he said if you wanted the Bill Parcells guy type coach, you got him. You're not getting to Sean McVay. Like, this is Sean McDermott is going to be this, like, Bill Parcells uptight. Like, I said when they got Sean McDermott, expect, like, myself, I said, expect Bill Belichick like press conferences. He's going to give you nothing. Okay? And I understand, hey, we want to win games, but dude, I'm bored as fuck, man. You're leaving me with nothing to talk about. And then you've had all offseason, and your team can't look anything worse since, like, what, forever? That was like the worst Bills loss. They say it's like the second worst. No, that was like the worst. because at least the first worst Bills loss, like they scored a touchdown. Okay. And when your team has had all offseason and this whole trust the fucking process, and then you don't want to own up to it, yeah, well, welcome to fucking Buffalo. Welcome to Rochester, New York, upstate New York. Welcome to the Great fucking Lakes area, okay? Welcome to the Rust Belt. Real as fuck here. This ain't fucking clown college, all right? Give it to the fans real. Give us something, man. Like, you're a bright coach. You're organized. Like, I respect you as a man, dude. Like, you're a good dude. You seem like a really good dude. You know, I love wrestlers. The wrestlers I have the most respect for out of any fucking athlete in high school, especially, or even fucking college. I respect the wrestlers the most. The dedication to mentally not like eat when you're surrounded by marketing for food. It was the hardest thing. I would like tape garbage bags around my body and run around the fucking neighborhood to lose weight. And I couldn't even watch TV because like a Burger King commercial. You know, I remember just having to drop like 10 pounds overnight one time because wrestler came down with like ringworm, and I'm behind the kid who goes to like states like, why is your weight up 10 pounds? Oh, I don't know. Like, I have no fucking shot. Like, any given Sunday, my ass and wrestling. Nah, man, this kid's good. Like, I'm here for the support. All right? I'm the warm fucking body. I understand my role on this team. But, like, you know, so I respect McDermott. And we got to this McDermott thing off of Harrison Phillips, so I am going to round this out to you. Harrison Phillips is a technician. Wrestlers are technicians. Sean McDermott is a technician. I'm sure Sean McDermott does have a process. I'm really sure he does. But the fucking problem is he might have too much control. He might like want things to go too perfectly. And I'm learning with business and other things in life to let go, because when I let go, I'm noticing more opportunities and even better opportunities might come about. And it really isn't a tire fire. It's just a fatalist attitude. Okay? If you think it's going to go wrong and you constantly put out there, you're just going to use confirmation bias for when it does. But when you actually stack it up, you know, your negative output really might not be there as much. So what I'm getting at here is Harrison Phillips and Sean McDermott, technicians, okay? I think Harrison Phillips had a good game. I think Harrison Phillips was drafted in part. I think the wrestling pedigree does help. And that was always the thing, is talking about how good he is with his hands. I'm not surprised. That's just a wrestling thing. So, you know, I just want Sean McDermott to have confidence to let his staff work or figure this out or whatever's going on behind the scenes, because it's just really odd that Peterman is on the roster. And I'm not trying to bash on Peterman, but I'm saying it since they drafted Josh Allen. And even this offseason, like, why, before that, why is Peterman on the roster? He has no place on the Bills roster. Another team, he just needs another shot. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else, because here we are. We wasted an entire offseason. And maybe the defense, I'm just wondering, I'm hoping not. Is the coaching that bad where the defense looks so bad that the offense is actually kind of productive on them? And I don't know how that works. I'm not going to talk out of turn. But defensively, Harrison Phillips looks really impressive. Shaq Lawson had a very good game. Very good game. Like, really stoked on Shaq Lawson. And he was a guy I talked about before the Ravens game that I think he could have a good game. And in preseason, he was stopping the run really well. Jerry Hughes got close. Kyle Williams seemed very consistent. I ripped on Trent Murphy pretty much because he had an offsides first play. I understand, you know, you haven't practiced. You haven't done shit. There's going to be a lot of expectations on him. He's going to get crushed. I might be one too. But you can't control injuries, and it could be uncalled for. At the same time, you know, if Shaq Lawson's a hot hand right now, let's go with Shaq Lawson and slowly work in Trent. You know, like, slowly work him in there. And do your thing. You know, maybe get a third of the snaps. I don't know what the rotation's going to be. They cut Adolphus Washington. I sent him a nice note. I like watching him develop, but apparently he was a fucking tire fire. That's what report is out there. So, one guy that is pretty disappointing, I was talking to Drywall Tom McKinley, and he was mentioning to me, he's like, yeah, I don't know how the fuck Starla Tulele is just getting pushed around. You know, he had a lot of one-on-ones and just a very disappointing. That one, it really hurts. Because when you do the math on Marcel Darius and you do the math on what he can do, he can rush the passer as well. Sarotule does not do any of that. Okay, and I know you get the pieces that fit what you're trying to build. I get that. But, like, when what you're trying to build is falling on its fucking face, and you are already statistically worse than any coaches previous to you, Rex Ryan didn't have this many blowouts. And I'm sorry, but a lot of people want to throw Rex Ryan, like, punches at Rex Ryan, but I try to stay objective here. I was a fan of the dude. I'll be real with you. I was a fan of the dude. Apparently, he didn't like coaching as much or actually put the fucking effort into it that I liked. But I thought his staff's actually pretty bright and worked with what they had very well. So I don't like this whole moniker about penalties. Oh, you're not going to get penalties. Sean McDermott's organized. You're not going to get penalties with this team. Bitch, please. Like, some of the worst fucking penalties I've ever seen. Like, stupid shit. Like, stupid, like, unprepared, like, shit. So, back to defense. If this team can just be fundamentally sound, like, really, stop the run. Can we start there? Just stop the run. Okay? You got Melvin Gordon. That dude's, like, pretty dope in fantasy football as far as I know. And he actually catches the ball the last couple of years, so that's pretty cool, too. And I'm not even going to go through the Chargers offense. You know all about it, okay? Phillip Rivers, every year the Chargers are like a dark horse for, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to pick the Chargers. And then they kind of, like, lose, you know? It's just one of those teams that just kind of underwhelms. The Chargers are the point that I always make when it's like, yeah, quarterback's important, but having a bright coach is even more important, and having support for your quarterback is the most important, because you don't want to have Josh Allen going out there to a shaky offensive line. You don't want to have no veteran to go to. I've been hammering the table forever. Could we get a veteran that has at least 1,000 yards passing under his belt and live game experience in case a shit show happens? But maybe they don't care if Josh Allen starts, which I don't care if Josh Allen starts either. Let's get him the fuck out there. You don't have all day. These players don't stay on rosters forever. Like, you really got 3 years to figure this shit out. Because what, year 4 he actually gets good, and then year 5, you know, you got the option on him, so they'll probably take. And it's like, oh, okay. And then after that, now you got to pay him a boatload of money. You know, let's get the most production now we can out of the kid. So I keep saying defense, and I'm going back to offense here. So the linebackers played out of their fucking mind, actually. They were the strongest position group on the entire team. So Lorenzo Alexander, shout out to that dude. That guy is my favorite player on the Bills. That's right. You heard it here first, as Jeff Knight says. So I have this theory that, like, you don't need a ton of youth. You don't need a ton of vets. You need whatever. And I always hate when these players, they get developed in a certain system. And there's a lot of different schemes and systems in football. I mean, you have 11 players in each side of the ball. There's going to be a lot of different ways to fuck, as my father says. So when I look at a guy like Lorenzo Alexander, who is played offensive line, defensive line, he's done a bunch of shit. Like, this dude is really the prime example of what you want, and he is an anomaly. He is probably the only one in the NFL to ever do this. Like, he won't make the Hall of Fame, you know, but if he wanted to Tom Brady it and play for the fucking Bills, so he's like 45 and could stay in shape, I'm in, man. Like, I really like Lorenzo Alexander, and he rated out on Pro Football Focus at a very, very high grade. I think like 86.6 or something. So I'm pretty stoked on Lorenzo Alexander, and I believe that was all from 86.5, and that's from cover1.net, which the article is Buffalo Bills Studs and Duds Week 1 versus Ravens. So, yeah, he had 6 tackles and not missing any tackles and playing well in coverage. Yep. So also another guy that looked pretty good was Matt Milano. He looks like he's progressing well, and I can't complain about that. Really can't. And Tremaine Evans, as advertised, really bright. That said, we got a first-team offense that's going to be on the field now for hopefully this whole game against the Chargers. Secondary's got to step up. I was livid when I found out Vontae Davis was not even active, and that's a big signing. That's a big money signing, and I don't care if you're off an injury. I don't know what the coaches are asking him to do. I don't know what he did in his previous career, like what he was asked to do compared to what he's asked to do here now in Buffalo. Somebody smarter than me can let me fucking know. But Philip Gaines got fucking schooled, and that ain't cool. So maybe instead of only dressing 4 corners, you dress 5 and maybe drop one of those safeties off. I would rather take like Vontae Davis, a smart football player, than like your 4th fucking safety, whoever that might be, that plays special teams, I guess. And maybe put him there. And I understand special teams is important, but I can't tell you how many times Crossman's fucked it up anyways. It doesn't matter. Okay? So I'd rather have Vontae Davis maybe being that extra safety if you're that desperate. Like, holy shit, I think you can figure it out for a couple plays. Like, really, let's not over-exaggerate here. So, Trey White, fine. He's fine. But, again, we have a hole at the cornerback spot that's not addressed. There's been some cuts. Hopefully Vontae Davis, maybe we just need to sit him, and it's part of the process. And we watch practice. You're not here. And I guess he's been awful, we've been talking about it. But I'd rather have an awful vet, I think, than, like, some young kid at least have the option to go to the vet than some young kid getting torched. Because I love these players that are vets because they're smart between the ears, and they can make up a little bit for not having the step. Think Ray Lewis, think Ed Reed. Think about the players that last. Lorenzo Alexander, just a smart, really, really smart football player. And when I hear things about the team, like Zay Jones has to read Calvin Benjamin, like help him out, like where to like line up. Calvin, take some notes, man. Your coach is Sean McDermott, bro. Fuck. So yes, the Bills will have a bounce back week. How did they not? The Ravens could have dropped fucking 65 points on them. But Harbaugh's like, no. We coach with Andy Reid together. I can't do that. I can't. I'm a good guy. So, anything else on my notes? No pun there. I want to talk, Jeremy Kerley got some targets in the beginning of the game. Zay Jones was on the field a lot. He had the most snaps out of any wide receiver. And that's actually how the thread for Sal Capaccio got started, is somebody asked, how's that even possible? And, yeah. So then Zay Jones made comments on that saying, her son has to show Calvin Benjamin how to play football. Great. So, Calvin, you should be having a big week this week, dude. Okay? Wish you the best. Looking forward to it. All right? So let's review, and then I'll check the comments if anybody actually watches this shit. So, how the Bills win against the Chargers? Feature LeSean McCoy. Run some play action. Get this shit going. All right? Let's see some screens. Let's hit a target. How about like 3 screens? You can use a screen anytime. Okay? When it's like 2nd and 24, how about not a draw every single time? How about maybe I know a draw can be a smart play. I'm not saying it's not. But let's be a little bit like, have a pulse. I think Zay Jones, if he's that smart, I think he could actually have a decent year. He's on the field a lot. The Bills need route runners. But I think Charles Clay or Kroom, whoever that tight end might be, you don't know yet. Right? Charles Clay, kind of disappointing. Like, dude, you got to catch the fucking ball. Like, I don't know what's going on here. But the tight end should be Josh Allen's best friend. That's the safety valve. So make it happen, Bills. Let's go. Keep it simple, stupid. Defense, stop the run. That fucking simple. Get to Phillip Rivers. Even if you just knock the old dude around a little bit. Get him fear. Send the house. If he's going to carve you up anyways, if he starts carving you up, just send the house. I mean, does it really matter? It's Phillip Rivers. So, if the Bills can, defensive line can really just step up and the linebackers can maintain their level, I think we have a very, 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 that the Bills have a very, very good shot at staying within a competitive range here, because the spread, San Diego's or LA's coming in with the Chargers are coming in with like I think more than a touchdown spread. I think it was like 8 points at one time. And they're coming all the way from Los Angeles. It's 10 o'clock their time. They play a 1 o'clock game. And they're favored that much at home in Buffalo. It could be a disaster. I don't know. But I do know, I don't think it's... We have 15 more games. 16 teams are 0-1. I've already shit a brick. But there's nowhere else to go but up from here. So I say we look at it like that. And we have a good time. So let's see. They can't win. Manny Bacho. They need to let Josh Allen run free. That's right, Josh. I agree, man. Just let him do his thing. Like, let him just do his thing. Sean Rivera. Yeah, we should have ran Allen into once on day one. Sean, I've been saying that. You got the kid. Play the fucking kid, dude. Just play him. He clearly is a lot better than what they have on the roster, and that's by the Bills' design. So, again, thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing what happens week 2 here. The Bills I think these are very simple mistakes to clean up, and I just think it happens to be more of a coaching philosophy. They had the wrong game plan. Don't forget LeSean McCoy's on your team. Stop thinking so much. Let them stop what you're good at. Let them do what you're good at. LeSean McCoy, you can put a bunch of fucking tires out there and just a couple obstacles, some traffic cones. He'll figure out a way to get around people if traffic cones are his offensive lineman. He's got it. So LeSean McCoy opens up everything else offensively. And this whole creative shit, let's see it. Let's go, Brian Dable. Let's go. Leslie Frazier, you got way too much experience for your defense to fucking suck. Get it together. Linebackers, great job. All right. Special teams, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know. Okay. Take care. Punter look good. Minus that drop punt thing. Too bad for him. But it's expected when you do something like, I don't know, do what everybody says is fucking crazy. Like, get a guy who's never played an NFL snap, even in like preseason punting the ball, and you just start him week 1. Oh, he'll be fine. Yeah, he'll hold the ball for a kicker. Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Oh, okay, Bills. Anyways, follow along. I'm your host, David Palermo. Numb Bills fan everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, as you see here. And if you're on the podcast feed, thank you for tuning in. And this has been the preview. So, actually, it's more like what the Bills could do better show and game plan to win the game. And I think if they fundamentally stick to those things, run the rock, play action, stop the damn run, and get a little pressure. I know, easier said than done on Phillip Rivers. I understand he's a technician. He's going to carve you up. I'm not a coach. But look competitive, Bills. As always, punchdrunksports.com. Follow them at punchdrunk. We're brought to you by that. We are part of the Punch Drunk Sports Podcast Network that is coming soon to you. And, yeah, numbbillsfan.com has everything else, too. See it.